Ever wonder why you can't remember what you just read on your phone? Your brain is sending you a warning. Real learning happens when you slow down, not when you scroll down. Sweden just made a bold move, ditching digital tools for old school textbooks and handwriting. Why? Scientists discovered something concerning. Digital tools aren't helping us learn better. They're actually making things worse. For decades, we've been part of the biggest experiment in human history, replacing paper with pixels. Before we knew it, digital learning had replaced traditional methods. The truth is, our brains just don't learn this way. In just a few minutes, I'll show you how your brain actually learns and why most digital learning tools are working against you, not for you. Chapter 1. The secret ingredient to learning. Here's something tech companies don't want you to know. Your brain learns by making connections, not memorizing information. Facts fade, stories stick. Facts inform, stories transform. In 1966, researchers released ELIZA, the world's first digital therapist. Everyone predicted the end of human therapists. Sounds familiar? ELIZA failed, not because she lacked information, because she lacked something essential: humanity. 80% of therapy success comes from the human connection. The same goes for learning. It's not just about information, it's about human connection. A strong teacher-student bond has 2.5 times more impact than one-on-one instruction alone. That means a teacher who truly connects with you in a classroom will outperform a private tutor who doesn't. Chapter 2. The biology of learning. Learning isn't just about absorbing information. It's a deeply biological process. Learning triggers oxytocin, the relationship hormone. When two humans interact, they release oxytocin together. And here's where it gets wild. When two people connect, their brain activity synchronizes, not metaphorically, literally. Scientists call this neuronal coupling, a phenomenon where your brain waves start mirroring the person you're engaged with. This biological sync simply doesn't happen with machines or AI. That's why 85% of free online courses are never completed. Without human connection, most people give up. Because here's a simple truth: text doesn't release oxytocin. Human voices do. Chapter 3. You can't innovate what you don't understand. Just Google it might be the worst learning advice ever given. AI promises to free us from memorizing facts so we can focus on higher order thinking. There's just one problem. Your brain doesn't work that way. Just because you can look something up doesn't mean you actually know it. Critical thinking and creativity don't float in empty space. They need a foundation, your prior knowledge. This creates an unavoidable truth. You can't think critically or logically without a foundation of knowledge. It's not optional. It's the starting point. Chapter 4. The multitasking myth. The myth of multitasking is costing you more than you realize. Your brain isn't built to handle multiple complex thoughts simultaneously. It can only focus on one. What we call multitasking is actually rapid task switching, which fragments our attention and diminishes our cognitive performance. This constant switching mirrors how we allocate our time. We spend over 2,000 hours per year on computers or phones for entertainment, but only 200 hours for learning. We are training our brains for distraction, not focus, not clarity. The issue isn't digital devices themselves. It's how they're designed. Every notification, every open tab, every autoplay video conditions our brain to crave interruption rather than focus. But real learning? That needs undivided attention, not as a matter of discipline, as a neurological necessity. Yet digital designers ignore this and keep piling on the stimulation. The result? Engagement without understanding, or as scientists call it, the illusion of learning. Chapter 5. You don't learn by studying, you learn by testing. Remember those long sessions of reading and highlighting, thinking that was all you needed to understand the material? Highlighting text feels productive, but when it comes to learning, it's nearly useless. Most people approach learning backward, focusing on reading and watching instead of recalling and remembering. Each time you retrieve information, you're not just accessing it, you're rebuilding it, strengthening neural pathways, making future recall easier. Even failing to remember something strengthens memory more than passively rereading it. Scientists call this the testing effect, one of the most powerful discoveries in cognitive science. That's why flashcards are so effective. They force active recall followed by immediate feedback, a crucial ingredient in long-term memory. Without feedback, it's hard to know if you're really understanding what you're reading. But with immediate correction, you refine and solidify your knowledge. We're not struggling to learn because our brains are broken. We're struggling because our tools and habits don't align with how our brains actually work. What helps us learn hasn't changed. Only our distractions have. The best learning methods aren't futuristic. They're rooted in history. This isn't about rejecting technology. It's about using it wisely. Your brain doesn't need the latest app. It needs methods that align with how it was built to learn. The real question is, will you let it?